Ambassador Zethkri's four eyes dilated in disbelief as the transport descended through the asteroid field that had once been humanity's newest colony. Where the Galactic Council's databases showed barren rock designated as Mining Station Kepler 442, a sprawling fortress now dominated the space around what the humans had named New Gibraltar. The asteroid itself had been transformed beyond recognition. What was once a lifeless chunk of iron and nickel now bristled with defensive installations, orbital platforms, and the distinctive blue glow of human fusion reactors. Zethkri's mandibles clicked nervously as he observed the defensive grid. Maze of particle cannons, missile pods, and energy shields that would make even the hegemony's capital world envious. "Impressive, isn't it?" Captain Maria Santos said from beside him, her voice carrying that peculiar human mix of pride and casual understatement. "When we first arrived here 3 years ago, the Council told us we were welcome to that worthless rock since no civilized species would want it." Zethkri's translator struggled with the concept. In Velkari there was no word for the human emotion he detected in her voice, something between vindictive satisfaction and protective affection. But the surveys indicated no atmosphere, no water, no soil composition suitable for agriculture, Zethkri protested. "The temperature variations alone would kill most species. How did you not only survive, but this?" Captain Santos gestured toward the viewport where human workers in environmental suits moved like industrious insects across the asteroid's surface. "That's where you made your first mistake, Ambassador. You assumed lifeless meant worthless." The transport docked with what appeared to be a minor airlock but opened into a vast hangar bay carved deep into the asteroid's core. Zethkri's environmental suit registered temperatures, atmospheric pressure, and air composition identical to Earth standard. The impossible had become routine. Dr. James Chen, the colony's chief engineer, met them at the airlock. His weathered face carried the permanent squint of someone who had spent years staring into the void, planning humanity's next impossible project. "Welcome to New Gibraltar," Chen said, his voice echoing slightly in the vast chamber. "Population, 57,000 humans, 12,000 automated systems, and one very confused council inspection team." As they walked through corridors that hummed with life and purpose, Zethkri observed details that defied every xenobiology textbook he'd studied. Hydroponic gardens flourished under artificial suns. Children played in recreational areas carved from solid rock. Markets buzzed with activity as colonists traded goods ranging from asteroid-mined platinum to Earth-style coffee. "Your species thrives in environments that would be considered uninhabitable," Zethkri observed. "But this exceeds all projections." "How?" Dr. Chen paused beside a massive transparent wall that revealed the asteroid's core. Where solid rock should have been, a miniature ecosystem thrived. Artificial rivers flowed through carefully constructed valleys. Forests of engineered trees produced both oxygen and food. At the center, a fusion reactor disguised as an artificial sun provided warmth and energy. "We had to think like humans," Chen explained. "Every other species in the galaxy looks for worlds that already meet their needs. Humans look at problems and see opportunities." "The first year was hell," Captain Santos continued. "Constant equipment failures, food shortages, 3 separate atmospheric breaches that nearly killed everyone. But humans don't quit. We adapt." Zethkri's communication organs fluttered as he processed this information. "The reports indicated you had requested emergency evacuation 17 times in the first year." "Requested, yes. Accepted? Never." Santos smiled grimly. "Each crisis taught us something new. The first atmospheric breach led us to develop the redundant life support network. The food shortages drove us to perfect closed-loop agriculture. The equipment failures forced us to become completely self-sufficient." They emerged onto an observation deck that provided a panoramic view of the defensive perimeter. Zethkri counted at least 40 distinct weapon platforms, each bristling with enough firepower to level a city. "When the Kethavar raids began," Dr. Chen said quietly, "the Council wrote us off as acceptable losses. A minor mining operation in disputed territory wasn't worth defending. But we weren't just a mining operation anymore. Santos added. We were home, and humans defend their homes. Zethkri studied the tactical displays. The engagement report suggests you destroyed a Kethavar battle fleet with minimal losses. Their ships were military-grade. Their ships were designed to fight other military vessels in open space, Chen explained. They weren't designed to assault a fortress that could shoot in every direction, had unlimited ammunition manufactured on-site, and was defended by people who would rather die than surrender. The tour concluded in the colony's central command center, where humans monitored systems that spanned not just the asteroid but the entire system. Defensive satellites, early warning networks, and mining operations throughout the asteroid belt all reported to this single point. The Kethavar called us rock rats, Santos said, studying the tactical display. They expected us to scatter at the first sign of trouble. Instead, they found 50,000 humans who had spent 3 years turning a worthless rock into the most heavily fortified position in the sector. Zethkri's species had survived for millennia by carefully avoiding exactly this kind of confrontation. They found suitable worlds, established comfortable colonies, and built relationships based on mutual benefit and careful negotiation. The human approach seemed almost suicidal. Your species deliberately chose the most difficult path possible, he observed. Not deliberately, Dr. Chen corrected. We chose the path that led home. Everything else was just engineering problems. As Zethkri prepared his report for the Galactic Council, he struggled to find words that would adequately convey what he had witnessed. How could he explain that humans had not merely survived in an environment that should have killed them, but had thrived to the point where they now represented a significant military power? The answer, he realized, lay not in human technology or tactics, but in their fundamental psychology. Other species sought worlds that would sustain them. Humans took worlds and made them sustainable. Other species built homes in comfortable places. Humans made comfortable places home. The Council had dismissed Kepler 442 as a lifeless rock because it offered nothing. Humans had claimed it precisely because it demanded everything. In doing so, they had not just built a colony, they had built a statement. They had turned rejection into resilience, hardship into strength, and abandonment into independence. New Gibraltar stood as proof that humans didn't need the galaxy's permission to thrive. They just needed a place to start building. And the IPOE? Determination to never stop. As his transport departed the fortress that had once been a worthless asteroid, Zethkri transmitted his report with a single recommendation. Humanity should no longer be classified as a minor species. They should be classified as inevitable.